The Joker, Catwoman, Two-Face, Hugo Strange, and dozens of others. Less surreal. I've faced and survived them all. I'm on my way to becoming a legend, as dark as the night itself, and as mysterious as the moon. They're whispering about the Bat in all the city's dark corners, and in some of the bright ones too. But I'm still new, still learning. The physical prowess and fighting skills, the detective methods and the tools in my belt, gloves, and boots. They're all important, but the single most important factor and the defining difference to date is the one element no one can touch, and the one thing they can never fight, not even the mad ones. Fear. Fear and intimidation. As long as I cloak myself in darkness and strike like a beast from the shadows, I hold sway over every other denizen of the night. A rabid, monstrous bat on high. You called.
Hey? You really think it's necessary to jolt my heart? Or wise?
You'll have to get used to it, Captain. It's the way I am.
And if the way I am were a hair more jumpy?
You signaled for a reason?
Thanks to your bogeyman act. It's scattered all over the roof.
Who?
The Dean of Gotham University and his 4 regents. In the university office they used as a meeting room.
Dead.
They're in the morgue and they're not shivering.
They look terrified.
Cardiac arrest. All 5 of them.
Literally. Scared to death?
With no signs of physical violence. Sure looks that way. An estimated time of death is the same for all 5.
Murder?
You tell me! We've agreed to help each other on the weird ones, and in all my years as a cop, including Chicago, I've seen nothing weirder.
Anything else?
Just this.
A straw?
Left or dropped on the center of the meeting table. Between 5 heart attacks.
I'll get on it, Captain. See what I can scare up.
I wasn't afraid of that.
"15 years ago,
I was always lanky and gangly, even as a youth, with a herky-jerky gait which never failed to draw derision and scorn.
Hey, Crane! Got a date with some crows?
Yeah, you sure look like a scarecrow!
He also looks like a different Crane. Ichabod Crane!
You ask me, his head's a Sleepy Hollow!
But however ill-coordinated I appeared,
Run, Scarecrow! Run!
speed of necessity was mine.
Gordon's weird one isn't the only recent incident of faculty death. Gotham University lost a professor of psychology, Aram Bramowitz, just about a year ago. Fatal fall from the roof of the chemistry building. Bramowitz was replaced by a graduate student and former pupil, Jonathan Crane. And Professor Crane himself lost his job, if not his life, just a week ago. Dismissed for unorthodox and recklessly endangering classroom behavior in a unanimous vote by the dean and his 4 regents.
What?
Leave! Now! And here's Crane's address. An apartment just off campus. "10 years ago,
As a loner, my pursuits were limited, and I was almost forced to become a bibliophile.
Get a load of freaky geek bookworm, Crane!
Books couldn't sneer and jeer like my nemesis Bo Griggs, or worse, giggle like his girlfriend Sherry. I pretended to be oblivious, even superior, but oh, how I hurt inside. And oh, how I raged. I was seared and scarred by such feelings every day of my life. Complex, conflicting emotions which I fiercely suppressed. Until that one day when everything bottled inside me simply exploded. Although such releases would soon become a secret thrill repeated at every opportunity. That first incident left nothing but shame and loathing.
I'm nothing but a scarecrow. And the only things I can scare are small, weak things. Nothing but birds.
That day was doubly significant. For Having avoided Irving's tale ever since I'd earned the derisive nickname Ichabod, I finally succumbed to curiosity about my fictional namesake. I was initially disappointed to learn that Ichabod Crane was a bookish loner just like me, but I was soon enthralled by the scene in which he amazed the other characters with his wild dancing skills. His long limbs and spindly physique at last admired for the assets they truly were. Inspired, I immediately raced to a cornfield near my home, where no one could see me amidst the tall stalks, and where I spent dizzying hours in imitation of my new hero. In short, I did the Ichabod and became a whirling dervish. Transported and energized by the dance, my frenzied gyrations filled me with a supreme confidence I had never known. Even as they abruptly turned violent. Given the exhilaration of that afternoon, it was inevitable that I would extend my unique form of violent dancing into a serious study of the martial arts. Mastering one particularly apt technique, the Crane style of Kung Fu, of course. But that night, I couldn't wait to return to Sleepy Hollow. Would that I had never finished the accursed book, however, for I read with mounting horror as Ichabod Crane fled down that lonely, haunted road in full tilt terror, with the legendary Headless Horseman in relentless pursuit. I actually gasped, fully sharing Ichabod's fear, when that dark demon reared up and hurled his severed head. True, I wanted my new hero to turn and face the horseman, but I couldn't really fault Ichabod for fleeing such a supernatural threat. After all, I would have done precisely the same. Imagine then my furious disbelief, the sense of bitter disappointment and sheer betrayal I felt when the horseman's true and all too human head was revealed to be that of Ichabod's jeering nemesis. My hero, my namesake, had fled in craven terror and cowardice from nothing but a harmless gourd. I couldn't bear the shame. A pumpkin! No! And that's when I finally asserted myself, in defiance of cruel destiny, and uttered my fateful vow. In the story of my life, the scrawny scarecrow will win in the end, and the last laugh, I swear, will be mine!
Crane's apartment is on the 3rd floor. All windows dark. If his blood is cold enough, maybe I'll catch him. Sleeping. No screams, no sounds at all. Appointed for books. And lots of them, but not a single volume remaining. Yet the dust pattern proves the books were only recently removed. Crane's gone. And he took the time to pack a lot of boxes, proving the murders were hardly committed on impulse. They were premeditated, planned, and executed only after he'd already cleared out. Tripwire. Who? A scarecrow. Straw. Not a costume, but a real scarecrow. A straw-stuffed dummy, rigged on a spring-shot pole. And its voice, also activated by the tripwire. Death by fright. Straw left at the scene. Scarecrow. It's coming together, even if it still makes little sense. But why did he rig his apartment like some funhouse fright show? Just to momentarily scare the police? Or even me? Did he leave some sort of taunting message? Or what? Gas. Heart pounding. Fear. Can't control myself. No! Murder! Can't stop it! He's shooting both of them! They're dead. And I can't stop him. Can't do anything. Helpless. Terrified. The blood. The gun. The noise. Ticking. But what? A bomb? Where? 6 years ago.
By the age of 17, I had developed a huge crush on Sherry Squires, who, wouldn't you know it, had been going steady with my hated tormentor Bo Griggs for 4 years. Even after word of their breakup had spread, it took me a week to build up the necessary courage.
Sherry, Jason Green's having a Halloween party, and I was wondering if maybe you...
Why, Jonathan, I'd love to go with you.
If her acceptance was sheer joy, the party itself was nirvana. Especially when Sherry said she wanted to be alone with me.
Come on, Jonathan, don't be afraid.
The dark journey down those stairs was both frightening and deliciously thrilling. I felt almost as big as I had when I'd kicked the scarecrow's head from its body. I suppose it was the furnace which made it seem so warm down there. But it was the chemistry of Sherry's perfume which sent my mind reeling. Now, what?
Now, silly, you kiss me.
I couldn't believe it. It was all I'd ever wanted, and more. It was heaven itself. Until, with the abruptness of a blood-curdling shriek, it all turned to hell.
No! Run, Scarecrow! Run!
Something hard but wet smashed the back of my head, and from that moment on, my earlier impassioned vow would forever haunt and mock me. I'd panicked just like that other crane, Irving's cowardly scarecrow Ichabod.
What's the matter, Scarecrow? Something scare you?
And Sherry's jeer loudest. There and then I made a new vow, to redouble my efforts and finally conquer the bane of my miserable existence. Fear. Once again a loner, I retreated to the sanctuary of my room and the safety of my books. Baum was the last light reading I ever indulged in, but I was different from his scarecrow because I did have a brain, and I suddenly saw the fulfillment of my vow in its concentrated use. Thenceforth my reading became much heavier as I embarked on a feverish study of terror. No fear, once you know fear. On the night of the senior prom, I was dateless as usual. But I was also ready at last.
Enjoy your dance, Bo Griggs, while you still can, and ditto to you, Sherry Squires.
No one noticed when I left the prom early, but by the time the others got to the traditional parking spot, everything was in place. I gave them 10 minutes.
What the? Guns?
But who's shooting?
Before tossing the cherry bombs. The smoke bomb was next, right in front of Bo Griggs's car, turning Sherry's jeers to fears.
What's happening, Bo?
I don't know, Sherry, but maybe we should...
And then I let them have it, with the very thing they had mocked for years, with me, Scarecrow Jonathan Crane. It was only a water pistol, but in the dark it became the first instrument of true fear I ever held. They scattered in panic, screaming and spinning their wheels. Big, strong, handsome bullies, no more and little more than birds. As Goethe said, superstition is rooted in a much deeper layer of the psyche than skepticism. And the power of superstition was now mine. Bound in tatters and straw and animated by audacity, I later learned that one car even swerved right off the road. Football stud Bo Griggs was paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of his life, while Sherry Squires, wedged halfway through the windshield, died before dawn. Buckle up, babe. As for me, I was ready for college, where I planned to further my studies in fear.
The shakes, wearing off now, but heart still pounding. Without even facing him, I found an enemy who uses the same edge I do. Fear. I've just tasted my own medicine, and I'm hardly immune to it. Got to do something to counteract it, level the playing field, regain the edge, and reclaim the darkness. Before our next encounter, in the flesh. 1 year ago,
My 4 years at Gotham University were spent in a concentrated study of psychology, chemistry, the brain's biochemical processes, and fear in its every aspect. Although Brumowitz gave short shrift to the psychology of fear for my tastes, his was the life I craved. A life of study and books.
And your Czech professor becomes my mate.
I wanted nothing more than to be his colleague, to be him, in fact. But unfortunately, the university faculty was fully staffed, with no openings in sight. Since I did not care for my only other option, moving away from Gotham to seek my future elsewhere, I sought a solution by immersing myself in my life's one other great obsession: experiments in chemistry. When I was done, it was time for the inevitable, and I invited Professor Brumowitz over to the chem lab to say goodbye.
Crane? Jonathan? Are you here?
I was hiding when he entered.
What?
A concoction of my own creation, Professor.
No, but please, no!
Let's call it fear gas.
And it was far better than a mere smoke bomb.
Since you once mentioned that your greatest fear was drowning, Professor, it is with great regret that I must inform you. The raging floodwaters outside force us to seek the roof at once.
The old codger actually squealed. Playing his fears like a maestro, I urged Brumowitz higher and ever higher.
Quickly, Professor! The waters are still rising!
Please, Crane! You must help me!
It's lapping at your feet, Professor. At your ankles, trying to drown you. Get away from it, Professor. Get away.
No! No!
There was now an opening for precisely the position I desired.
Goodbye, Professor!
I was the very first applicant, waiting only long enough to rent a new suit.
As the late Professor Bramowitz's protege, Crane, you're the perfect candidate for the job.
Thank you, Dean.
One month ago,
With increased blood pressure and pulse, fear releases glandular secretions of adrenaline, facilitating flight. Yet it also releases other biochemicals which interfere with neuromuscular response, resulting in trembling, stuttering, dryness of the throat, nausea, spasms, incontinence, visual distortion, cardiac arrhythmia, and...
I thought this was a psychology course, and presumably there are states of mind other than fear.
Where the psyche is concerned, fear is everything. It provides our every motive and governs our every response. The very act of living is nothing but a conditioned response to the fear of death. And here, for example, are 3 types of fear. 1. Fear of my unknown intentions. 2. Fear of an object invested with almost supernatural power, the gun. And 3. The simple, primal fear of an abrupt, loud noise.
Bleeding!
Even after a year of trying to teach the goats, I couldn't believe their slowness. But considering the swiftness of what followed that episode, the Dean and his 4 toadies must have convened at once.
No more than an inch from the young woman's eye.
Outrageous classroom behavior.
Not only that, but he's left us wide open to a justifiable lawsuit.
Then we're unanimous?
We have no choice. Jonathan Crane is hereby
dismissed for nothing more than performing a simple but highly effective classroom demonstration. Very well. If I am Professor Crane no longer, then I must become something else. The very icon of my lifelong fear and frustration. The very thing all the big, handsome bullies have forced on me. The thing I was cursed and destined to be. Crane no more. A frightened bird never again. But now the sinister scarecrow, master of fear.
Crane's parents are both dead, leaving him with no past. Don't know how to find him, but when I do, I'll be ready. Last night.
We have 7 applicants for the position vacated by Jonathan Crane.
That noise. Gas! Coming in through the air vent. But who...
The scarecrow, a symbol of poverty and fear. Since you insist on depriving me of my livelihood and preventing me from passing on my hard-won knowledge of fear, let me teach you, gentlemen, my farewell lesson. As Shiva said, the delight of revenge is murder.
And so my pass was done, and I needed a new job.
Here, in the charred rubble of Crane's desk, and Crane's predecessor, Professor Aram Bramowitz, fell to his death from the roof of Gotham University's chemistry building. But what does it mean? Until 3 other chemical companies moved into the area, Fontana Chemcorp enjoyed a monopoly in Gotham. Now, with orders split 4 ways, it's a simple case of too many players for a limited market to bear. With one or more of the competing companies destined to go under, but Crane never worked for any of them. So, what's the connection? Tonight.
Who is that? Someone who's made study of your fear, Mr. Fontana. Being driven out of business after all your hard work by unscrupulous competition moving into Gotham. Competitors I can scare off for you.
You know about Shane's? Cooper? Banyan?
I know they're driving you into the ground, Fontana. I know you have enough cash flow, $10,000, to continue operations for another miserable 3 months of fear.
Just, who are you?
Someone in worse straits than you, Fontana. Since I've already lost my job. Now you can use your remaining capital to buy 3 months of ulcers. Or you can give it to me. Choose the latter, and all of your fears will be visited on your competitors this very night. Letting you reclaim your corner on the market tomorrow.
But this is crazy. Some skinny guy in a Halloween costume sneaks in here. I'm supposed to... You're kidding, right?
See if you can laugh, Fontana, when this room starts shrinking.
No! Please! It's getting too small! Too tight! Let me out of here!
Easy, Fontana. It's just a temporary hallucination induced by a diluted mix of my fear gas. But say the word, and your rivals receive doses of full potency.
It's going away. Room getting bigger again.
As I promised, fool!
You're hired!
And there you have it. The story of my life, up to this very night.
And the beginning crawl of my new and gainfully employed future.
Marked by the end of Raymond Cowper's life.
Single stalk of straw, just like the first one. It was on the night table in Raymond Cowper's bedroom, next to his dead body.
Heart attack again.
Yes, scared to death, just like the Dean and his 4 regents. And we're dealing with another prominent victim, since Raymond Cowper was...
the owner of Alchem Corp.
How in blazes did you know that? Gone again?
Got to move fast with 3 potential victims remaining. Make sure Crane has committed his last murder. Now.
Didn't take much to scare Shane's, Fontana, and Banyan out of town for a week. News of a competitor's death travels fast. Add the deep, grating voice of an anonymous phone call, and they couldn't wait to pack. Fontana seemed especially terrified. Probably safe to ignore his house. And first or second, sooner or later, Crane will come here.
Snakes, Banyan, your greatest fear? You see, I make a study of my victims, the better to prey on their specific phobias. Awaken, Banyan, to my writhing sack of cobrazins.
No more murders, Crane.
I'm not Crane! I'm the sinister scarecrow, master of fear! Who are you?
Fear itself.
No, you're that creature of the night they're talking about! The Batman! But you're really nothing but another big bully! Just like the ones from school! And all the others trying to frighten me! But I will not be scared!
Give it up, Scarecrow! But he flees. A bizarre tatterdemalion of fear, slashing the night with the speed of his own terror. Those long legs make him deceptively fast. Every time I gain on him, he darts or melts into the shadows, forcing me to higher ground. And by the time I pick him up again, he's pulled farther ahead, running me ragged. More than 5 miles now. The outskirts of the city. And I've lost him again. Did he double back after ducking into that last alley? Or no, There, a cornfield.
It's over, Crane! I know you're in here!
Books moved from Crane's apartments. But where is...
As Elliot said, I will show you fear in a handful of dust!
Boo!
The Scarecrow doesn't need a gun! I don't even need my fear gas! Not when I can always resort to my Crane style of violent dancing! Where'd the bully go?
He's insane!
Oh. There you are! Can you dance, big bully? Can you keep step with the Scarecrow? Come on, mock me now, bully! Let's hear the cheers, big man! Or are you all out of breath, windbag? No! I won't be humiliated again! I won't run! I can't lose! Crane is dead! I'm the Scarecrow now!
And I'm the Batman, Crane. Fear me. A fool. Who's your partner, Crane? Who are you working for, Scarecrow? It's Fontana, isn't it?
Scared him.
10 grand. Lot of books.
Maybe they'll be lenient on Fontana, considering the circumstances of his fear. But Jonathan Crane's circumstances doom him to a certain fate, to a darkness he can forever haunt, and hopefully never escape. Maybe even to a hellish confinement right between Two-Face and the Joker. Madness, fear, and laughter. Arkham is shaping up as quite a place. It scares me.